Hello, everybody. This is Jamin Shively, broadcasting from Seattle, and I'm here with my colleague and co-host Michael. How you doing there, Michael?
Doing well, Jamin. Here in the south of France, looking forward to talking about
Radish as a living laboratory. A living laboratory for what? It's kind of like improv. A living laboratory. Well, basically, you're pretty much spot on there. But it's a living laboratory to implement as quickly as possible. All that basically that Ichi ends up recommending, because Ichi is sort of like this ivory tower think tank, right? Of course, Radish does some thinking of its own. To paraphrase Hannibal Lecter. We do some thinking of our own, by the way, but, it also looks at what Ichi recommends, because Ichi is looking at it from, Radish is in the thick of it because it is a collective intelligence. It itself is a collection, an implement. Go ahead, Michael. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's radical collective intelligence. And so I think no matter, what form or forum, right, for collective intelligence table takes that and roots down, right, gets to the root of what it, and so I think that in the case of Radish, what we have here is a platform, organic, where you're constantly interacting with whatever collective intelligence you're given, but you're always getting to the root of it. You're finding, well, what is this really about? What does it amount to? What is it, And I think that's the spirit of it.
Yeah. And the rooting down, it's kind of like you can root down very, very quickly as collective intelligence grows, because you have more and more people involved, and you have more, and as time passes, you also have more and more interaction history, whatever history the member is comfortable leaving, breadcrumb trails of, so that we can better, match future requests for participation in a particular inquiry to that person. But the bottom line is the cumulative effect of all these people, who are, essentially standing by, available during certain portions of their life when they make themselves available. And the system, knowing that, pings them during those times as there are opportunities available. And in many cases, an expert is needed to, rapidly size up a situation and render a suggestion, an idea, an opinion, maybe several such experts. And that may only take a few minutes of their time, and boom, they're off to the next thing, right? So it's all about implementing all of those capabilities as quickly as possible and iterating rapidly. So we're starting by just cobbling together, Google Hangouts, YouTube videos, a social networking software, WordPress websites, wikis, the brain software. We're cobbling together all these different tools in order to, and platforms in order to, build the present iteration of Radish. I mean, it's kind of that simple, right?
Yeah.
But success. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to clarify my last statement, and to build upon what you're saying now, imagine a taxonomy of topics, wherein you have various time roots, right? Because you were talking about various recorded hangouts, if you will, where you're able to root down on any given topic.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the taxonomy itself forms a sort of root structure.
Exactly.
You bring in any number of different CI, platforms or programs, right?
Yeah.
They can be plugged into this, because any one of these can become a starting point for a conversation.
Well, and what's really cool is, like, for example, MIT's Climate Collab. They have a taxonomy. I don't think they call it a taxonomy, but they have a taxonomy. We can simply point to that, and that becomes the connection. That becomes the connection from the climate change node in, the appropriate taxonomy within Radish, poof, to the MIT Climate Collab node.
You have it. It's totally radical.
Totally radical. And for each such thing, there are also links to the Wikipedia article about the Climate Collab, a link to the Climate Collab homepage, contact us, membership, all that kind of stuff.
You name it.
Exactly. And so this rooting down process that's constantly searching and exploring and researching and innovating to find whatever it's looking for, whether it's a vastly more efficient way of accomplishing X, Y, Z, or a way of cleaning up and protecting whatever habitat or whatever the case may be, it's able to, using collective intelligence in the ways that we've been discussing, enable it to root down so quickly, because boop, 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 it's like a series of steps. It's always a series of steps. And as long as you can bring in the right expert or experts, plural, to help, shepherd you through that next step, boof, and then you break through that next step, and then it's always a question of tapping people.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's exponential. Why? Because as you root down from topic to subtopic, right, there's a certain bifurcation or trifurcation or whatever the word is, right, that's happening at any given level. Yeah. And so the further down you go, right, with the more participants, right, who are part of the whole taxonomy of topics, that comprises Radish, right, Radish Collective Intelligence. I think at first it's like, okay, yeah, we're having some conversations. It seems slow, but I think as you continue on, you see the exponential growth of the root structure. Yeah, because it's rad.
Yeah. No, because the more we work together using this very medium of recorded video conferences, which we can then share with others and they can provide feedback and all that. The more we do this radcasting, the better the ideas we come up with and the better clarity we get on exactly what we need to do. And as is evidenced by our most recently recorded radcast. This is the 6th one we're recording today. So good stuff. I mean, and this is an example of, this is collective intelligence. The fact that it's recorded fits squarely within our model of radical collective intelligence, given the fact that it's recorded and given its telos and given that it's consistent with the overall teleological taxonomy, whole world, et cetera, et cetera. This is part of the radical collective intelligence. So
it's a living laboratory of love.
It truly is. It truly is. Living laboratory of love. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Let's call a radish a radish.
Let's call a radish a radish. Yeah, it's a it's a labor. It's a labor of love.
Yes.
It's a living laboratory of labors of love.
Yes.
Or something. Anyway. Or something like that. Or something, period. But anyway.
Radical collective intelligence, right? It's a new category, right? We've basically bifurcated the category of CI. And the reason why is because this incorporates into itself any number of other programs, platforms, right, that comprise CI as a category. Yeah. Exactly. It's just getting to the root.
In a way, it becomes one analogy of many is that it's sort of like the Google of CI.
It's revolutionary.
Or the Wikipedia of CI. Yeah. Right? Because it provides an index to all the different collective intelligences out there. It links to them. Some of those will link back to us, others won't. It doesn't matter. We still index them. And of course, they are all welcome to be members as implementations, as CI communities themselves. They can join as a community, and that comes with its special privileges and features.
Yeah.
And capabilities and whatnot.
Yeah, you're welcome to join. On the other hand, and I do welcome you to join. But you know, there's the International Conference on Collective Intelligence. You know, anybody interested in the category of collective intelligence, you know, can join.
Yeah.
Radish is where you get to the root. So,
well, I'd say Radish is one of the places where you get to the root, because
it's radical collective intelligence.
It is. Well, no, there's no question about it. I mean, look, it's the first in the category, but it's not necessarily going to be the only one in the category, right? Other collective intelligences may adopt the Radish platform, right? And then, you know, because maybe they have a community that they've already developed, it's working great for them for what they're doing, and they want to plug into something bigger, right? I'm just saying there's a way that they can maintain their own, you know, independence outside of Radish while still leveraging whatever of the free open source tools that Radish develops, right? So, you know, it's kind of like that.
Hey, look, Jamin, there's organic radishes and there's all the rest.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Either you're Radish or you
look,
ain't. You know, either you're rad-ish or
yes,
you ain't.
I like it.
All right. So anyway, and the thing is, everyone is welcome to apply to be a member of Radish. The bar is relatively low in terms of, I mean, it's totally free to be a member of Radish, and it's
you don't. Are you sure you don't mean hi, Jamin?
No, I'm sure I don't mean hi, and but it's free to join, and also, you know, the main requirements are that you have a sincere desire to help save the world, help save the planet, and save humanity and all species, and that you're willing to play by the rules, the kind of borderline obvious rules of, you know, respecting everyone else, respecting their privacy, respecting XYZ. It's really fundamentally, it's about respecting others.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and so that's really the bar, you know. And what's really exciting is with Radish as a living laboratory, as you know, as a full scale implementation of radical collective intelligence. It will have deep connections with the Hungerless games, which in fact is hosted on Radish. So it's immediately and automatically plugged in to Radish and its taxonomies, including all the nodes of the global holistic modeling efforts, all the nodes of, you know, whole world operating system, and all the databases and models and everything that are developed by the Hungerless games, the game, So, and it's plugged into all the other, you know, collective intelligences out there in the world, and manifestations of collective intelligence, such as Wikipedia and Google, and it will be, and you know, thousands of others that are less well known. And see, that's part of the indexing functionality. And of course, we'll just let all of our members and other participants, even non-members, participate by contributing known instances of collective intelligence to our database, to our site, right? So that they can be part of the index. And then we can actually, you know, what's really exciting, Michael, is we can actually create a taxonomy of collective intelligence. You know, just like there's a taxonomy for, you know, all plant and animal life. Okay, great. There can be a taxonomy for collective intelligence. And so the taxonomy, you know, one big trunk would be dimensions. What are the dimensions of intelligence? Well, there's memory, and there's perspective, and there's processing power, and there's connections, and whoa. And then you kind of root down on those, right? And so those are dimensions of intelligence. And then there's, you know, a whole other trunk into, you know, known implementations of collective intelligence. And, you know, and there's all different types. There's like scientific, industrial, social, general interest, blah, blah, blah. And then they can further branch down by, you know, fundamental architecture. Look, is it fundamentally a discussion forum? Okay, great. Call it a discussion forum. But if it's this radical collective intelligence implementation, like what we're doing, then call it radical. If it's radical, call it radical. If it's a discussion forum, call it a discussion forum.
You're either radical or you're not.
Right. Exactly. See, that's going to bifurcate, per the 22 immutable laws of marketing. It'll bifurcate the.
Are you red?
But anyway.
So. No,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the Radish, the living laboratory, will have all these connections to all the other lily pads all around the world, and of course, we're a sponsor of Ichi. We're actively, and I'm currently both president of Radish and executive director of Ichi. I don't actually want to continue wearing both hats, but for the time being, it's necessary because we haven't found, ultimately, I'm president of Radish, so really we need someone to head up Ichi. But
yeah, and I'm the prime minister of Radish, so I don't have time either for that.
Well, actually, you could head up Ichi if you wanted to, with all your academic connections and all that. But anyway, that's a separate topic for another day. But anyway, bottom line, we work together closely. So Ichi, just to kind of distinguish Ichi from Radish, so Ichi is a living laboratory of its own, but it's more like a think tank and less like, the operator of some big, global social network come collective intelligence. And so, Ichi will actually use tools and platforms of collective intelligence, and it has every right to test out whatever it wants to test out, So I think I imagine Radish and Ichi kind of collaborating, where Ichi might pilot some things on a very small scale, whereas Radish would pilot some things on a very big scale in terms of successive generations of collective intelligence, which of course will only increase the total intelligence that we're able to extract or produce, right? Or that will emerge as you combine, AI cross HI, artificial intelligence cross human intelligence, en masse, in community. That is collective intelligence. And, radical collective intelligence takes it to, the nth degree that it is aware of. And, and that's going to give rise to a global collective intelligence, which we talk about.
Amen with the J.
Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, but so just, so here's one analogy that I came up with, which is that Ichi is like the homebrew computing club, or homebrew computer club, or whatever it was called, homebrew computer club of the Silicon Valley in the dawn of the age of the personal computer, right? Or the dawn of the era of the personal computer. It was actually there that Steve Jobs met Steve Wozniak, and so Apple was really a product of the homebrew computer club. Anyway, Ichi is like the homebrew computer club of collective intelligence. Michael dropped out, so hopefully he'll come back in. But that's the analogy. Ichi is like the homebrew computer club of collective intelligence. So it's kind of like the place where radishes are born, kind of thing. And to some extent, it's an incubator of collective intelligences. And it's where we can talk about all kinds of different philosophies about collective intelligence, whole different approaches, different paradigms, different proposed praxis. Praxis is one of the big things that Ichi will be focused on, which is sort of a unifying body of standards, for collective intelligence. And that's a great example of something that Ichi should really be focused on, not Radish. Radish can say, oh, hey, we've come up with our own praxis. Well, yeah, but it's a Radish-centric praxis. Ichi gives us a degree of separation, and let it be a big degree of separation. That's why I don't want to be heading up both organizations, among other reasons. Ichi will really be kind of like an ivory tower ivory tower across. So, and actually, academia is a very, very important part of it. We really want to bring academia on board and actually build out a taxonomy of all of academia and allow academics, professors, researchers, students, anyone involved in academia, or who even just wants to enter through that portal, can sign up and basically make themselves available with their knowledge and expertise, make that available to the collective intelligence, so that as needed we can draw on it, right? So anyway, I think with that, we've given a good introduction, probably a bit long-winded. So I thank everyone for your patience for watching. Thank you so much. And thank you, Michael. And thanks to everyone who is a part of Radish and Ichi and all the great projects that we're involved in. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much.